Age Friendly and Dementia Friendly Cohasset. As you may have heard, we have been accepted as members into the Age Friendly through AARP and Dementia Friendly through the Massachusetts Councils on Aging. So we're very excited and we're going to have a great next couple of years as we implement different programs to make this a place for Cohasset to age well for people of all ages, whether you're 0 or you're 102. As we know, we've got it on here in Cohasset. So, first off, I'd like to introduce Mr. Gerald Flaherty. He's with the Executive Council of AARP, an Executive Council member of AARP. And for the last 25 years of his career, he was a VP for Medical and Scientific Programs at the Alzheimer's Association of Massachusetts in New Hampshire. And Jerry's here with us today so he can present the certificate to us. And after we speak with Jerry for a little bit, we'll speak with Nettie Nuttle. She's going to be in charge of the program as we go forward. So thank you very much. Okay.
Thanks, Nancy. I appreciate the invitation to present this award. It's an important thing, and more towns and communities are joining up with age-friendly and livable communities. Age-friendly is really it's a network of communities that have been described in various ways since AARP became the lead agency in the United States for the World Health Organization, which founded the movement. And that's exactly what it is, a movement. It's a grassroots movement, and it's global. Cohasset is now among 420 communities across the United States to have joined this movement. The 65th in the Commonwealth, the 420 are across the country. It's the 65th here in Massachusetts, which is also, last year, was named as an age-friendly state by the governor. So it's one of 5 age-friendly states, including 6, which is the Virgin Islands, not a state. And it's unique in that regard, in that it is a statewide program that encompasses all of the aspects and domains of the age-friendly movement. Age-friendly's aim is to address the most pressing need of our elders. It's a greatly expanding community, not just here, but in other towns where I've presented these certificates recently, which have as many as 35% of their populations age 60 plus. And that's only going to increase significantly. And that's part of the reason that shifts in population are another for what caused the World Health Organization to initiate this whole process in 2006. Shifting populations to urban areas and larger suburban areas, elderly shifts to those same centers, which has stressed a lot of the service providers. So it's an attempt really to address their most compelling needs. Address them, whether it's health, housing, transportation, socialization, safety, or maybe even most importantly, communication about programs and activities that relate to all of the above. Its aim is also to engage those adults, both for their participation, but also their insight. A colleague of mine said at a conference we attended together last week, longevity is a gift, aging is an asset. So your input is crucially important to how this grassroots movement really functions successfully. Among other assets in your age-friendly membership is the information you'll receive about successful initiatives across the state, across the country. You can tap into all of that on the AARP website and the materials that AARP provides that can help you guide you through this whole process. And that includes intergenerational activities. It's not just a program for older adults. There are a number of intergenerational programs and activities across the country that you can see and use as models. So many of these towns, the other thing I'd say, many of these towns are not unlike Cohasset. So you'll be able to, I think, learn quite a bit about what you plan to do. Not that you're not doing quite a bit already. So Age Friendly also opens the door to a wealth of collaborative and often regional opportunities, not to mention the possibility of new grant potential for the town. Given that Massachusetts is now, as I mentioned, an age-friendly state. In particular, you know, given that Massachusetts is now an age-friendly state, Tufts Health Foundation has an age-friendly focus in its grant making. AARP has an annual challenge grant, just a couple of things, for example, not to mention possible private sector involvement. The only other thing I'd say is that the Cohasset Elder Council's accomplishments, and many thanks, you know, Nancy, Nettie, and others in support of your selectmen and chair and other elected officials in the area, been very supportive of the age-friendly movement. And that's true here as well as it's true statewide and nationwide. These accomplishments speak for themselves. They're the kinds of things that will make your action plan, in particular, a lot easier to write. And to not just write, but to actually implement. You're already doing many of the things that Age Friendly really set out to do. You know, your good work is pretty obvious in that regard, and I congratulate you on it. And I'd like to present the town of Cohasset with this certificate from the National AARP office that you can hang somewhere, you know, prominent, and you are now officially an age-friendly community. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate that, all those kind words and that information. And now we'll pass it on to Nettie, and she will go forward with letting us know a little bit more about how we are going to approach this.
Sure.
Thank you.
And thank you, and thank the town.
Greetings. First of all, thank everyone for coming today. Most importantly is getting the information out to everyone. And I have to say, I am much more of a person to sit around the table and chit chat, or as I pass you in town, or you happen to come through the halls of Wilcott Commons to say, hey Nettie, can you tell me about this? Or hey Nettie, I have this idea. So this is a little bit more formal, but I welcome everyone to come see me here or anywhere you see me. If you have any ideas, thoughts, criticisms, opportunities for growth, bring it on, because I am passionate about making Cohasset age-friendly and dementia-friendly. From the bottom of my heart, it's a sincere quest to help seniors, and seniors anywhere from 50 to above. But again, the best thing is age-friendly doesn't necessarily have a range of age. If it's good for someone who is 80, it's good for someone who is 8. So if I happen to be at a park and an 8-year-old comes over with a great idea, I'll take it. So let me first start with the challenges. The challenge of success of growing up and growing old. So that's what we really want to focus on. What are the challenges and how can we address them in the years to come? As you already know, Cohasset has already been accepted into the network of age-friendly cities. So what that means is we are accepted to start getting busy. We haven't been busy yet with implementation because we use the network, their ideals, and their support system to help make Cohasset age and dementia friendly. Why now age friendly? The most interesting thing is we all know there have been such changes in the healthcare system. 50 years ago, some of our ailments we have now, there was nothing you can do about it. Now, people are living longer due to the advances in healthcare, which is fabulous, but we are now blazing a new trail. What do we do with healthy 80-year-olds? We have exercise classes here that, again, maybe 50 years ago, an 80-year-old wouldn't even consider lifting weights, yoga, all of the things we have going on, which is absolutely fabulous. In Cohasset, there are more people over the age of 60 than under the age of 20. Interesting. As Jerry noted, the World Health Organization started with Age Friendly. They are actually, they were created by the UN. They are looking at things internationally, and then AARP signed on with WHO, the World Health Organization, to come up with the 8 domains and bring this to America. So, as he said, Massachusetts was the second state to declare they wanted to be age friendly, and therefore many of the cities and small towns are following suit, which is fabulous. Age and Dementia Friendly. This is the most exciting part for Cohasset. So Cohasset has the Cohasset Master Plan, full assessment over the past couple years, full action plan, ready to hit, and in we come with the 8 domains of becoming age friendly. So I've sat down, thoroughly compared the 8 domains, the 8 goals to become age friendly, and compared it to the Cohasset Master Plan. Many parts are already married. So it'll be another voice to make sure as this Cohasset Master Plan is going forward through the years, we have the focus of age friendliness in the master plan. So just in comparing some of this, age and dementia friendly, the 8 domains, so the 8 areas that we focus on, housing. Cohasset Master Plan also has a housing domain. Transportation, they call it transportation and circulation. Age friendly is community and health services. Cohasset Master Plan has a public health section. Outdoor spaces and buildings, the master plan says open spaces and recreation. So you can see we're at parallels. The other 4 domains are social participation, civic participation, respect and social inclusion, and communication. So it's very exciting for everyone that the master plan and the 8 domains of age-friendly community are going to be married together, which is great. For us to have joined the global network, we've already been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. So we had to complete an application and present to the Board of Selectmen for their approval. So they've already reviewed, they're aware of the 8 domains, they're well aware that it marries in with the Cohasset Master Plan. So we presented to them, we got their blessing, we completed the application. We are now in the process of completing our action plan. Part of completing the action plan is we will send a survey out to as many households as possible to get your input. As much as we here at Cohasset Elder Affairs think we can assess what's going on, there may be things that we don't know about. So we want to hear from as many people as possible with the questionnaire. From there, we'll write an action plan, work with AARP to review that action plan, work with other people who are already in the network to get ideas, implement action plan, and then just a continuous cycle of improvement. So, good stuff. Big part is input from the community is huge. As Jerry also said, there are many support agencies who will help us through the way, whether it be with time, thought, or grants. Some of them, of course, is the World Health Organization, AARP, the Massachusetts Council on Aging, Massachusetts Healthy Aging Collaborative, Tufts Health Plan, Dementia Friendly America, the University of Massachusetts, and the Alzheimer's Association. So that's pretty exciting to draw on those resources and take it in from there. One of the things I wanted to do is just kind of review some of the details of the 8 domains to see what we think might help with Cohasset. Pardon my glasses. For outdoor spaces and buildings, at a first sweep, one of the things I've been hearing from people who live in Cohasset is 2 things. 1, our pavements for walking are not great, and 2, we don't have a lot of benches. So even if I wanted to become a walker, which we have a walking club here at Wilcott Commons, which with the recent weather, hopefully will reconvene in the springtime. If you can't walk a quarter of a mile yet, you're stuck. Whereas if we can have more benches throughout town, which the city of Boston has a huge program with putting benches throughout, just the walkability. Benches also help with social inclusion. If you see one person sitting on a bench, you may sit down and chit chat with them. So that'd be something that we can review. I'm well aware that Cohasset is a town that also prides itself in the feeling of remaining a historic village. So obviously there's a balance. And also Cohasset is a very big town. It's not just the downtown that we look at. We want to look at everything from our east, west, south, and north borders and try to be all inclusive. That's outdoor spaces and buildings. Transportation. Our transportation program, just in comparing it with transportation programs from others in the states, here through Wilcott Commons, is stellar. Between our individual volunteer drivers, our hired medical drivers on staff, and our 4 vans that are available to pick people up through town, we do a great job with transportation. What is a challenge for Cohasset with transportation without any easy solution is getting to the train station if you don't drive. That area, it's very hard to put in a walking path. We have challenges of 3A because the town doesn't have jurisdiction over 3A, but of course, you know, what mimics the Cohasset master plan will also be woven through this. Housing. As we all know, housing is interesting here. It's very expensive. Fortunately, we have a very active affordable housing committee that is constantly trying to find new opportunities and bring affordable housing into Cohasset. On the positive side, we are blessed to have our 60 Elm residences, and it's a focal point to see how we can continue to serve the residents who live there. Social participation. To walk through Wilcott Commons, an example, last night we had a community dinner with over 50 people here. We have a dinner planned, a luncheon planned in November, excuse me, with over 80 people already signed up. So to walk through these halls at any given times, this center is used heavily, but for all the people who do come here, there's probably an equal amount who don't come here yet. We want to be a center where more people come frequently. We have recently started having different programs of all type, through reflexology to the dinners, the lunches, transportation, so trying to determine the needs of everyone and meet those needs through social participation. Stick it together here. Respect and social inclusion with Age Friendly. Again, trying to find out who are those people who are at risk for not being socially included. Who is out there who doesn't know what our services are? Who would like a friendly visitor? These are all aspects that we'll be researching. Civic participation and employment. We do a pretty good job with our volunteers for anyone who is interested, but there's always opportunity to grow. So, through this program, although we do great things, we don't want to accept everything, we always want to be better. Communication and information. We have a great emergency program in Cohasset, but again, how are we reaching everyone? Are we doing the best job we can? And finally, community and health services. We have a fabulous town nurse and the health department here, but those are some other issues that we'll be looking at to see what we can do better. So, age-friendly, dementia-friendly, oncoming programs, working with the Cohasset Master Plan, an action plan, implementation, and most importantly, always having an open door policy to want to hear from people as their needs change. So we are here for all people, not just people over 80, over 70. If it works for somebody who's 80 and over, it's going to work for somebody around the age of 8 as well. So thank you for coming, and we hope to hear from you at Wilcott Commons.